Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today is a first impression video. When Chris from Fragmental launched his fragrance Smolder with Terence Hughes, he wrote to me on Facebook and asked if I would like to try it, and of course I said sure, that would be great. And Aaron very kindly sent me a full bottle of Smolder, which we gave away for the full review, and so the winner was pinned and that was posted. But Aaron at the same time also, I didn't ask for these, but he was really very generous in sending or giving some samples of his own line, which I've never smelled any of Aaron's work at all. He sent me 6 to try, and these are 10ml samples, so it's very generous. There's obviously 60ml of perfume here, which is a lot. So thank you, Aaron. I've never smelled any of his work. I've had these for a while now, and I have not opened them. I don't know what they smell like, apart from briefly on a live stream last week. We kind of popped a top open just to show, and I had a whiff of the atomizer. But in general, I have never smelled them. This is a total blind first impression. I say blind. I have done a little bit of research. I've gone on his website and I've written the notes down for each of these, so we have a little bit of a guideline of what we're smelling. And this is just going to be a first impressions video. So the first one that I'm looking at here is called Homme, and there we go. So this will be the first time smelling this one, and I know roughly what to expect because I saw the note list. This is a 10ml, and it looks like a miniature version of the bottle pretty much, although the cap this time is silver instead of black, but it's the same metal kind of plate on the front, and also the same kind of texture that the bottle has, of this kind of matte finish, kind of plasticky rubber kind of effect that it has. So yeah, there we go. That's what it looks like. And we're going to give it a spray. Because there's 6 of these, I will be spraying it on a test strip. Again, just a first impression. The atomizer, very good, by the way. On this and on the bottle, the atomizer was excellent. I wish mine sprayed that good, to be honest. I don't know where he gets his sprayers from, but that's very good. Wow, okay. That's nice. That's immediately I got like a good quality orris butter, like I can smell orris butter. So I do have the note list, and it says orris, concrete, amber, tonka, vanilla, sandalwood, cedar, clean skin accord. Immediately the orris is obvious, and it is sweetened, so that's nice. Good quality orris. It's got a little bit more of a cosmetic kind of vibe, where it goes into like a little bit makeup-y, hints of kind of lipstick almost. Orris butters can have different smells based on the ironone count and region. This one leans a little bit more cosmetic. It's mellowing out fairly quickly, and there is a subtle kind of vanillic, tonka-like sweetness. Doesn't come across overly like massively complex in terms of notes. It's orris focused. If you like orris, then you might really enjoy this one. I do appreciate orris. I used to be not a fan until I bought the raw material myself, and I was like, this smells amazing. So now I'm actually quite fond of orris butter. But this, it smells good. It's not too sweet. Maybe a little bit singular. Like it says, there's like a clean, presumably like musk accord, a clean skin accord. That one, for sure, that's one I would wear on my skin, and I'll probably do a full review on that. Although it might be relatively simple to talk about or to describe, because smelling it here, it doesn't seem like it would go through any dramatic, crazy changes. More, it feels like it would probably just mellow out. But very nice. I think that's good. I like orris butter. You get a hit of it in the opening. It smells like good quality orris butter to me. Quite soft on the strip after a few minutes. I would say that one's unisex. It's got the name Hom. It doesn't strike me as massively masculine. It's more in the middle of the road unisex category. A woman could wear that totally easily. Like, if you're a woman, don't be put off by the fact that the fragrance is called Hom. You know, a woman would smell great in that. If you like orris butter, then you might want to check that one out. Okay, so the next one that I can see in front of me is called Santal Extreme. So this is Santal Extreme, and we'll give this one a spray. So Santal obviously being sandalwood. Sandalwood is one of my favourite notes, so hopefully I will like this one too. Sprayer is excellent. I am impressed by the sprayer. Oh, that's... The first thing that came into my head was licorice, like an anise kind of note. Interestingly, let me go to the notes. I don't know what's in this yet until I look. Okay, so what are we on? Okay, I did not write this one down. I have no idea what's in it. Apparently, I did not look this one up. Okay, that's helpful. It's just a hint of something, maybe a little bit floral, citrus-like fresh. Not what I expected with the name Santal Extreme, I'll be honest. I was expecting like big sandalwood, but I don't get that from this. This one doesn't strike me as being overly complex in terms of like note pyramid. It's light. It's got an ethereal kind of airiness to it. In terms of gender, I would say totally unisex, middle of the road, and maybe a little bit more casual smelling. Now I can start to feel kind of a light, musky, sandalwood kind of vibe coming through a little bit after these top notes are mellowing out a little bit. It's not what like I say, it's not what I imagined with the name, to be honest, but I will look up the notes to this now because I failed to do my research properly and did not write it down. So if you give me a second, I'm going to look it up on the internet and we'll see what's in there. So we're back. I have done my research and the notes are Italian bergamot, mint, vanilla, tonka, almond, patchouli, sandalwood and nutmeg. So I have no clue why it smelled of licorice to me. I definitely got, the first thing that my brain registered was like, oh, kind of black licorice smell. So my brain straight away thought of star anise. That's not listed. I don't know how that comes about. So I'm not sure why my brain registers licorice. I don't get kind of a strong minty vibe. I didn't pick that out. I don't get a massive amount of almond, although there is a subtle sweetness. But it's not a big like marzipan or almond kind of cake thing. It's not massively nutty that way, to me at least. Maybe on skin as it dries down, that kind of element might come out a little bit. From a test strip as a first impression on the top notes, not massively. But from a first impression, it does come off a little bit lighter and not as massively centered on sandalwood as I was expecting. I don't know what kind of sandalwood he used. It might be like maybe an Australian variety or something that's a little bit lighter. As the top notes kind of fade away, you can smell the sandalwood, but it's, like I say, it's light, it's airy, it's soft. And there's a slight kind of musky kind of lightness to it. We will skip to the next one. It is called Haze, and the writing is in blue on the label, so I had to do a little bit of digging, because from memory there was two Haze, and they're kind of different colours from what I can remember. So the notes in this one, it smells fruity off the top, by the way. The notes in this one: Hedione, sweet orange, lemon, grapefruit, pineapple, galbanum, blackcurrant, pink pepper, and filth accord, with a clean skin accord together, ambergris and rose. You definitely get combination of the fruity citrus notes. To me, it just fruity, fresh, clean, bright, juicy. Definitely a juiciness to it. So I think it's not massively overly centered on pineapple. Whenever anyone uses pineapple, it's like Aventus comes up. It doesn't really smell like Aventus, so don't worry about the pineapple. But I probably dabbles, obviously, of all of those kind of fruity citruses going on together. It smells juicy, it's bright, it's kind of a summer uplifting kind of vibe. There is a slight kind of watery texture to it, which might be the black currant, if he's using like a cassis base or something like that. Filth accord. I'm not sure what that means. That might come out more in the dry down if there's some kind of, I don't know what filth accord is. It could be like an animalic or a leather or some, I don't know. So maybe that comes out more in the base. But from a top note, this is all about bright, juicy citrus and fruits. Smelling into it now after a few minutes, I get maybe a little bit more of the lemon, more than the other ones, where I think before it was more in the sweet orange kind of category. A little bit more juicy. Now I'm getting a little bit more kind of cleaner lemon kind of tone. This is definitely one you'd have to wear on skin and let it develop and see how the other notes come through. So as a first impression, it smells like it would be completely unisex and more leaning to summer and spring, daytime, quite casual, easy to wear. We'll have to see how that goes. I'll probably test that on skin too, although maybe the wrong time of year to be testing it. I think this would do better in the heat, obviously, but we're moving into like November, December, more winter time. So the next one is called Daddy, which is an interesting name for a fragrance. We'll see what Daddy smells like. So we'll read the notes. Daddy has apple, bergamot, tonka, nutmeg, oud, sandalwood, patchouli, vanilla, benzoin, ambergris, and clean skin. So the top, I get, it's a little bit sweet. A hint of the fruitiness isn't like in your face fruity, but you can smell there is a juicy sort of slightly sweet quality to it. The tonka vibe, the tonka resins and the woods and the clean skin accord is what comes across mostly to me when I smell this. You get kind of musky, woody, ambery, sweet, like a smooth, sweetened amber kind of fragrance. Actually parental, nurturing, like a new dad that's had a baby girl and is doting over her and you know, totally in love with his daughter and really sweet, affection, caring new dad kind of vibe. And maybe he wears like a soft wool jumper, and he's kind of just, his heart's melted at the birth of his daughter, and he's just very sweet and loving and kind and caring and affectionate. It has an innocence to it, or a sweetness, like a maternity kind of caring kind of sweet nature to it. Maybe like the blend in general of what I'm smelling, it does remind me of other fragrances. It's not like the most totally abstract, unique thing you've ever smelled. Like there's a lot of fragrances that do, you know, woody, amber, slightly sweet, tonkery, vanilla kind of ideas. But this is tasteful, it's blended nicely, it's smooth, it's not offensive. Again, despite the name being Daddy, I would say totally unisex. Man or woman could wear it. Autumn, winter. Again, more casual, kind of t-shirt, jumper, kind of, you know, laid back, casual kind of vibe. It would be interesting. I would definitely wear this one on skin and probably review this one in full too. It would be interesting if I can pick out the oud later. I don't really smell that at the moment through the kind of the top notes. But if the oud comes out more in the dry down, maybe a bit of the patchouli, that might be quite cool. The next one is called Notorious, and the writing for this on the bottle, I don't know if you can see that, is red instead of white. And so we'll give this one a spritzaru. There we go. This one, clean, citrus, smooth. So Notorious has bergamot, lemon, mandarin, tonka, vanilla, amberette, heliotrope, patchouli, cedar, and rum. I don't really get a rum, personally. I'm by no means a rum connoisseur, so... But this one, my brain doesn't register boozy or alcoholic, personally. But I do smell the citruses. Not so much the lemon in this one, at least in the initial blast, but more the kind of bergamot, mandarin, sweetened again with the tonka. Tonka seems to be a favourite note of Aaron's because it seems to be in many of these. The names are interesting because when I hear the word notorious, I'm thinking of something that's a little bit risky or a little bit dangerous, something that's got a reputation behind them, notorious for something, and maybe not in totally good connotations, but maybe a little bit dark. I don't, that mental thing doesn't kind of correlate with what I'm smelling, so to speak. It's, again, pleasant, a little bit mainstream, a little bit, what I mean by mainstream is like non-offensive, like appealing to many people. That's what I mean by mainstream. There's something in this particular one that my brain goes to thinking of designer fragrances. There's DNA in certain designer fragrances, more so than like niche, that this has a vibe of. And I can't explain what I mean properly. It's got that... Maybe it's going a little bit more masculine in my brain now because of that. Like, more masculine designer fragrances. It has just a... I can't explain why, but there's just a vibe or a feeling that I'm getting that reminds me of that. Which, to me, again, makes it smell mainstream, mass appealing. Versatile, typically. Heliotrope is like a slightly, it can be like Play-Doh-like, vanillic, sometimes a little bit powdery, but like a vanillic, tonkery, Play-Doh kind of vibe. I don't get like a huge hit of that in this. Again, I would say mandarin, bergamot, tonka, vanilla, probably the amberette as well, giving it kind of this musky, kind of clean softness. Though that's the main kind of vibe I'm getting from this. With something, like I say, that's going... It might even be the note that's of the rum accord, possibly giving it the way it mixes with the top notes of the citrus. Maybe is giving it my brain kind of an idea of more certain elements of mainstream designer fragrances for men. And again, I wish I could be more specific of what I mean, but it's just it's a feeling. I can't quite understand why myself. That one, I'll be honest, is maybe not my taste. I probably will give it a wearing on skin to see how it feels on my skin, but from a personal taste perspective, that one's not my personal taste. Whereas the other ones I like more. So we'll see how that goes as it dries down and changes. But yeah, although it's not my personal taste, I think a lot of people would like it. Because it has elements of mainstream, mass appealing fragrances that a lot of people like. So we are on the last one, and this one is called Patchouli Noir. So Patchouli Noir is the last one that we're going to smell today. And we'll give this a spritzaru. There we go. Patchouli isn't a massive favourite note for me, personally. So I'm not sure, I may or may not like this one. Okay. Okay, George showed me a fragrance yesterday called Misfit. Reminds me of this. And I liked Misfit. I can't remember who made it. Artiste, something like that, I think, maybe. It was called Misfit. It was a musky, kind of clean patchouli fragrance. So, we'll read the note list for this one. Radiant Woods. No idea. Nutmeg, ginger, cinnamon, coconut, vanilla pods, tonka, patchouli, rum, clean skin, almond, and dark chocolate. There's almost like a slight, it's not in the list, but there's something that's like a little bit irisy like, at least on the paper from the top note. Not full on, but like a kind of a vibe, a little bit. I wouldn't have been surprised if I'd have seen iris on the notes. There's something in there that's a little bit ironone-like, or at least coming across that way for my brain, but it may be just the combination of everything coming together. Not massively spicy. I think maybe this, maybe like tiny little bit of ginger and cinnamon mixing with coconut is giving this really interesting accord. I think the coconut's definitely playing a part here, whereas like maybe it's that kind of lactonic kind of feeling. The way it mixes is interesting. I find this is curious. When I smell it, I'm intrigued. Like, I want to smell a bit more and kind of figure it out. I like this one. First of all, I'll say that. The patchouli isn't like smash in your face patchouli. It smells cleaner. The other notes are working with it. Coconut's a funny note in perfume. I don't typically like coconut in perfume, to be honest. The way it's done in this and the way it mixes with all the other notes is tasteful and it smells good. So again, I don't, when it says rum in the notes, I don't smell anything that my brain goes boozy, because I don't like boozy notes personally. I don't get things like dark chocolate or maybe like the slightest almondy vibe, but not massively. Those notes might come as it dries down and your skin kind of warms up, and maybe more base notes. I'm not sure, we'll see how that goes. But that one, that's nice. I would wear that myself from a first impression of smelling this. I would definitely wear that on skin and probably do a full review of that one. I think that's good. Genuinely, that's very nice. It's pleasant. It has a mass appeal to it. I think it's likable. Pretty much all of these fragrances smell unisex to me. Even like the one that says hum. This one too smells unisex. It'll be interesting to see how that dries down and changes and what other notes come out on skin. But this is just a first impression. I will go briefly over them as they've all been resting on strips for, you know, the last 20 minutes of filming this video, and give a little bit of an overview or a feedback of thoughts on each one, and maybe give you like a favourite so far on a first impression basis. So to recap on these, this one is called Hum, and this was the strip. It's mellow, it's soft. The orris is kind of toned down where it's not massively cosmetic anymore, but you can still smell the orris vibe and the tonka kind of sweetness behind it. No massive changes apart from it smells mellower, and that kind of the lipsticky, powdery makeup cosmetic smell is toning down a little bit more and becoming smoother, even maybe a little bit slightly woodier. There is sandalwood in here, that would make sense. That's probably coming up more as the kind of intense top notes of the orris are dissipating. It's becoming a little bit more woodier, like I say. That one, I like that. I think that's good. The next one was Santal Extreme. This is the one where my brain was like, black licorice, and it's nowhere on the notes. I don't know where that comes from. This is, again, I still get kind of licoricey vibes. I don't know why. I can kind of a little bit get a slight minty kind of vibe now, as it's dried down a little bit, but not like massively. And if it wasn't listed on the notes, I'm not sure my brain would have like said mint, maybe more suggested, since I know it's in there. But there is a fresh kind of quality to it. Again, maybe not as centered on sandalwood as I was expecting with the name Santal Extreme. It's not an extreme sandalwood, but I will see how that goes on skin, and if my impression of the black licorice thing still sticks when it's on my skin, that'll be interesting too. The next one was called Haze. Okay, that To be totally honest, and I don't mean to be negative or whatever, but that one's not my taste. I don't know what I said the first time, I can't remember. But now it's changed. I get more kind of a heady-own synthetic lemon kind of thing that's like very indie smelling. It's like an indie brand of like Hedione and Isui Super and Bergamot, and that's not massively appealing to me personally, and it's going in that direction. Like, a lot of people really like that smell though. It's not something that... See, there's a musky kind of quality that's just a little bit off. There's still a kind of watery fruitiness there. But that one, as it's changed and the brighter kind of fruity, juicy citruses have mellowed out, like it opened more like mandarin and orange and pineapple, and it was quite juicy. I remember it being juicy now. That's kind of toned down, and I get more kind of, like I say, like the Hedione is like there, and I get a little bit more tinge of the lemon and this kind of also musky kind of slightly. Yeah, that one isn't for me personally, but like I say, these kind of notes are mass appealing and a lot of people really like them. Looking at the note list again, sorry, this has got the filth accord in, and so I'm thinking that maybe that's a slightly dirty kind of musky kind of quality maybe. Moving on to Daddy, it's just got softer, I think, and it's not massive changes in the time that I filmed this video. The way that this is structured will probably just mellow out and get smoother and just fade out and tone out. Very pleasant, very nice, and I think a lot of people will enjoy it if you like, you know, slightly more sweeter kind of amber-based, kind of amber woody kind of fragrances. Moving on, again, a run over of Notorious. Yeah, the name doesn't strike me as a kind of a correlation when I smell it. No massive amounts of changes. You still get the kind of the citrusy, fruity kind of quality mixed with the tonka seems to be a running theme from the ones that I've smelled. He likes tonka, obviously. That's coming through, and the amberette, again, doesn't smell boozy to me. That one probably is not totally my taste as it's drying down. I'm getting confused of which one I said was a designer, kind of had aspects of that, but I think it's probably this one, because I'm getting the same kind of vibe. The last one, just to go like recap, is Patchouli Noir. That's good. Patchouli Noir, I would say, is definitely one of my favourites in the top, probably top 2 from the ones I've smelled. The other favourite I really like, the Orris Butter one in the top note, especially the first blast. Thank you. Let me know your thoughts. Thank you again, Aaron, for letting me discover your fragrances. It was an interesting experience. Yeah, interesting to check them out for sure. And thank you. I will see you soon with some more videos. Take care, everyone. Bye.